Hello again. I'm presenting this award on behalf of Andrew Cohen, who, as I told you before, is suffering from COVID and couldn't be here today. This is an important award for us. It's the only named award that we have. We named it after Irving Abella, and it was important for Andrew to present it because he was a friend of Irving Abella and of Rosie Abella. And what I'd like to do is, with your indulgence, is really read what he wrote as the introduction to this award. The award is for Sovereignty and Religious Freedom, a Jewish History, and it's by Simon Rabinovitch.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the jury, to the awards. And thank you so much to whoever put that very young picture of me up there. I really appreciate that. This is a really wonderful program, and I feel really honored to be among a lot of really wonderful authors and to learn about their work. I feel especially honored to win this award named after Irving Abella. When I was an undergraduate at McGill University, where I first became interested in Jewish history, I would say to many people's surprise, including my parents and especially my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, Irving Abella was one of these names that had giant stature. There were not very many people who were writing about Canadian Jewish history. I remember at the time the other was a professor named Gerald Tulchinski, but really these two people were the only people who were writing about Canadian Jewish history, and this book, None is Too Many, was a real landmark and a book that I read and was familiar with. And at that time, professors, when I didn't yet know that professor was like a job, these were just sort of disembodied names, right? That you heard about but didn't think about as being people. And so, first of all, to meet Professor Abella's wife, Rosie, which I had a chance to do in the spring, was absolutely wonderful. And now to win this award named after him is something that I couldn't have conceived of as an undergraduate. Partly because everybody thought I was going to law school, and then I realized that this was actually a job, and that's something I might want to try out. So I did, and it worked out. And I guess I'll explain a bit of the context for the book, and then come back to my thank you. So the book, there was a wonderful introduction that was given. It fits into the sort of arc of my scholarship and my career, which has been about trying to understand the different ways that Jews have conceived of themselves as a people, politically, socially, and culturally, in ways that maybe don't fit necessarily into what we see as being a sort of binary between political sovereignty through a nation state and individual rights and integration outside of the nation state. I've looked at different ways that have challenged that. And this latest project, I looked to the law, and I found all sorts of cases where Jews were fighting with other Jews in civil courts that weren't Jewish courts about which took precedent, essentially the right of the group or the right of the individual. That was a lot of fun and a lot of interesting work for me, but it also brought me back full circle to the people I have to thank. So both of my parents were practicing lawyers, and my mother's here today, which I'm very thankful for. And I'm also a little bit sad that my father couldn't be here today. The book was dedicated to his memory. He was a practicing lawyer in Toronto for decades, and before that, he grew up in Outremont in Quebec, which is the site of a significant portion of the book where I look at some relevant cases there. So I think he would be very happy and very surprised about this award. I wish he was here, but I thank him anyway, and my mom and my wife and kids who are at home in Boston, and the jury and everybody here. Thank you very much.